Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and more FS2024. I promise I'll have some non-negative videos coming shortly, but I do think it's important to showcase the current bugs and issues you can expect if you were to come into this game as a new simmer, and why you should or should not spend your money accordingly. This video is a showcase of all of the aircraft bugs that I have currently found. And that doesn't mean it's an exhaustive list. Just because I didn't notice bugs doesn't mean that someone else won't have bugs. But it's a long one, and I apologize for that length. Like I said, I want to have some non-negative content soon, but excuse me, but it's important, I think, to showcase this failure of a launch in this game. And I'll be using the term game from here on out until they make it excuse me, until they make it sim-worthy. I'm still sick also, in case you couldn't tell. But that's it. Let's get into the clips. Here's just another small one. I've got the A400M Atlas Sandor Grizzly. I don't remember the NATO designation, but just to prove we're starting from a fresh flight here on the ramp, I will go ahead, and the first thing I'm going to do is grab the chocks. And if we come over to our EFB, I'm going to actually get the aircraft slowly starting here, just so I can do this in one quick take. If I go to the ground tab on my little EFB here, you see that the toggle chocks button is still green, indicating that it's on. How do we know that the chocks are still on? Well, because if you look at toggle GPU, that's also green, and the very first switch I hit was the external power button. So with that knowledge in play, it can be assumed that the airplane's not going to move until we get rid of it in the EFB. Now, this isn't as huge of a deal as something else, or all of the other issues we've seen in the sim, but it still is enough to bother me. It's a really simple oversight that they should have foreseen. Waiting on the APU. 50%. Once we get the APU started, this will go a hell of a lot faster. Or if you want to skip ahead to the part that specifically I'm referencing. But just to prove my point, those of you guys who hang out here, you'll get to see this full uncut, unedited clip showing that I'm not lying, I'm not cheating. Okay, APU's up, gens are on. Let's go ahead and start our engines here. We'll go number 2 because that's the blue side. Blue side for the hydraulic loop, I should say. So 2 feeds the blue, and the yellow's fed by 3 and 4. Dual redundancy. Hydraulic systems, we love redundancy in the aviation world. Okay, that one's good. Start in 3. In the meantime, we will ditch our ground power since we're now running on one of our engines. If we click that, you can see GPU removed, and the GPU button has now become red. Oh, that's the wrong switch. Alright, available. I'm going to start the start process for engine number 4, but we are going to start moving here. Or not start moving. Let's go taxi lights, runway turnoffs on, park brake to the off condition, like so. And now we should be able to move. Park brakes off, we took the chocks off on the ground, but we're not moving. What gives? See me here advancing our throttles. all the way to max takeoff. The aircraft nose strut is squatting, but we're not going anywhere. It's because of this. So you have to do 2 chalk removals. Now we should move just fine, and there we are, rolling as expected. I am curious to see. Let's restart the flight once more. If I can do the same thing without removing the flight sim chalks, because that would just be hilarious. That would be comedic. That the AnyBuilds A400 is ignoring the flight sim chalks, even though flight sim put in chalks needed for the sim. And this is the issue with these ported aircraft, is they just don't work. So this time, leaving the flight sim chalks in place, gonna run through the same startup procedure we did before. There we go, APU spooling up. Gets batteries on, fuel pumps. We're on the beacon while we're here. Where are you? Right. APU spooling. And this time we're going to leave, or sorry, turn this off, but we're going to leave the flight sim chalks in place. They're still down there. You can see them on the main and nose wheel. Oh, hello, flight sim, come on. This is supposed to be the not as stuttery one, remember? That was 2020, that was stuttery. What's this on supposed to be? %. $85. Should be good to go here in just a second. There's 95%. Going to go straight into the engine starting process, starting engine 2. And there seems to be no life. It's because I have no APU bleed source. There we go. I knew I was forgetting something. There's that bleed air coming in. Feeding the engine. We're going to skip the realistic process and just go straight into the run detent. And we'll just do engines 2 and 3. So as you saw, we were able to move pretty easily under idle power before. Alright, comes engine 3. In the meantime, let's, I guess, turn off the park brakes, see if we move under just engine 2 power. Turn off the GPU since we don't need it anymore. Goodbye, my friend. And there's 3. We'll get 4 going as well. Now, moment of truth, toggle shocks. Do we move? Add a little bit of power since we are only on 2.5 engines. It appears that no. No, you don't. So, back to idle. Let's go outside. Move those. Come back. Park brake's still off. And now we move. Can you abandon your aircraft in movement? You can. This is fun. This new sim, this got super dangerous. This aircraft is moving on its own. I mean, you can just hit Control C and get back in, or Shift C and get back in, but why are we self-testing? You know, we did this already. You're set to go. Alright, well, anyway, that's another FS bug. I don't know what else you want from me. We love you, Microsoft. All right, here is another one for you. We have the Airship Industries Skyship 600, and we need to be able to actuate these colors up and down. Again, starting from a cold and dark state. Let's hop inside. And this thing's actually kind of a pain for me to get started properly, so we're going to use the old keybind of Control E. That's going to get everything started up for us. While that's running, let's go to the settings menu. Let's go to controls. We're going to go to my throttle, and we're going to look at vector. Helps if I spell it right. So you can see I already have a option put in here for the axis for the vertical thrust. That doesn't work. Doesn't work. Just to prove that I'm not lying, let's put in the same axis again, slider Y. Everything is default as it is right now. We could maybe change the action curve a little bit, change the dead zone just a hair, but other than that, it's a default slider. And in case, yeah, we'll do this first. Save and back, resume. Now I'm going to breathe, just literally breathe, not literally breathe, but I'm going to slightly move that axis for the vertical thrust vector. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Snap. Straight to the ground. And it doesn't move. I'm fully actuating my axis left and right, or up and down, I should say. And it doesn't seem to do anything. So let's go back to the controls. We'll search by input. That's the wrong one. We'll search by input again. Slider Y. What if I invert it? Save and back. Resume. Moving the axis again. Still nothing. It's still snapped dead vertical. Back to settings. Controls. Throttle. By input. Let's get rid of this axis entirely. Cleared out, just make sure it's gone. There's no more axis assigned to that. Now, vector. Let's use a button combo. Decrease vertical thrust vector. We'll make it that and that to increase. We've got buttons 30 and 31. My little scroll wheel over here. Save. Resume. Just for funsies, let's restart the flight. Make sure we're totally clean and clear. Starting afresh. We don't have any leftover binds or anything like that from the previous flight. Into the cockpit. Into the engine start sequence. Just that Control E. So it's doing its thing. And I'm going to touch the button to move the vector up. Not down. Up. Seemingly doing nothing. The down button. Seemingly doing nothing. Going up, nothing. Going down, nothing. Back inside. Sounds like we're running the auto start process, maybe. Come on, dude. The auto start doesn't even work. My master starter isn't on. The ignition isn't on. There. Don't worry, Flight Sim, I handled it for you. I don't think that red engine started. It's not. Let's go do that for Flight Sim also. Master ignition on. Master start to starboard, ignition, starboard. Still nothing. Am I missing fuel pumps? Nope, port and starboard are on. There we go. Now they're coming. Now they're coming. Okay, both engines started, but I can't actuate my vertical thrust. Maybe it's a different bind, I hear you say. Well, it's a very valid potential point. It does seem kind of weird that it would have slammed my thrust vector into the ground like that. So I don't know. Let's, I guess, try horizontal. Let's try my same slider from before. Action curve. Add just a little bit of a dead zone. Leave everything else default. Resume. Same thing. As soon as I move it down, they just go straight down. And it's the same thing for the buttons. Nothing happens. So that's the Skyship 600. Flight Sim 2024 Microsoft. We love you. Just a quickie for you. Here we have the Antonov AN2. What's going on with that exhaust, huh? Why is it shooting down at a 90-degree angle? Wait for it. Damn. What's going on with that? I'd be kind of okay with it doing the little puff thing, but shooting down to a 90-degree angle, not here for it. Just a quickie. Microsoft, we love you. This one's less of a true complaint and more of just an annoyance. Here we have the King Air C90 variant of the famous, I guess you could call it, Beechcraft King Air 350 and the 350i. We're obviously outside of the cabin right now, and if I go back to my cockpit, what is that? Oh, okay, it's fine. It's small, still annoying though. Next on our list is the Boeing 707 brought to us by Microsoft. We love you. Let's do a runway start. And we'll make things daytime because it's currently night in eastern California. Hit launch.
Edwards Tower TBM 630 Tree Tango ready for straight out departure at runway 2 tree left.
Oh, my engines are off. That's crazy. They're... Huh. It's wild. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's, I guess, go ahead and we'll just hit the auto start procedure. This part I actually do like how it moves the camera around to the flight engineers panel to start up the APU, check the voltages and all that. That's pretty cool. What's super not cool is having a runway start and an aircraft that's completely cold and dead, but it gets better than that, right? It gets better than that. I can't show it to you right now because the engines aren't running, but this 707 has the same problem we saw in the 787 in the original flight sim, where the nose gear does not track the actual turning radius of the aircraft. Again, I can't show it to you because... hang on, I'll just skip ahead. Okay, I've got one engine running, which is enough to demonstrate my point here. So we're going to throttle that engine up. You might hear a distinct lack of sound. Yeah, there's no sound on this aircraft either. But you can see, as I turn the aircraft, the nose gear does not turn. It just rolls forward aimlessly with the rest of the... God. Anyway, so that's cool, and you saw it here. Just for funsies, let's try. I haven't done this yet. Let's try an air start. Custom departure airborne. Start. I'm going to move my throttles upward to indicate I want to fly. And gotta wait. Gotta stream that data that I should already have. Are we flying? I'm gonna go with no. There's still no sound. The sim is lagging like no one's business. Okay, all the engines are actually on this time, which is good. But we're flying a glider. Well, we're not flying a glider. We're flying the most silent 707 you'll ever see. What did the 707 have? JT8Ds or JT8Bs? I'm pretty sure they were JT8 engines. I could be wrong. But no sound. And per usual with everything else in the sim, the lighting on the aircraft looks atrocious. And there's no sound. No sound whatsoever. I don't have it muted. There's just no sound. The Hover 707 by Microsoft, who, hey, guess what? We love. We love you. Next up on our list is the 737 MAX 8. Pretty cool Starliner Starlight headliner inside of there, even though the aircraft is cold and dark. So we see that theme continuing. That theme will continue to continue, unfortunately. Let's hop inside. And let's get some power on board here. Let's go emergency lights. Actually, let's do battery first. Oh. Okay, well, the sim's still working because I can see my mouse. There we go. All right. And APU to start, please. Ground power if I haven't requested it already. Let's get some. We're going to come back to this guy here. Once we showcase what I need to in the dark, you can probably already guess what it is. There's a theme happening here. Let's dim up these displays just so I'm not blinded by them. Okay, I'm going to come over to the lighting panel here. And again, we are on ground power. Ground power is selected on. I'm going to turn on every single light on this aircraft. Worth noting that on the 737, the up position for the position lights turns on the strobes. We'll turn on the run light. Oh, you don't get that joke yet. You'll get it on the next airplane, don't worry. Don't worry, you'll get it on the next airplane. That's hideous. What the? So turning on the compass light makes this orb of light appear out here also. I don't know if that tube is actually supposed to be illuminated or not, so I'll let that go, but this orb is unacceptable. Anyway, confirming we have every single light on this aircraft on. Confirming we have power. In fact, let's switch over to APU power. Where are my lights? The wheel well lights are supposed to be on. I wish I could turn off this stupid flashlight. There probably is a way to do it. There's a bind for it. I don't care enough to learn it. The landing lights and taxi lights and runway turnoff lights are off. Again, checking the wheel wells. Lights are off. Just my flashlight illuminates. Coming out to the wingtips. Also, this is still a thing on this S7 737 700 or 800. I mean, wingtips. There's my light fixtures. Why no lights? Nothing. Cool, groovy interior there. No lights. Nothing on the tail cone either. No navigation, no strobes. And just to prove, everything is still on the aircraft. Now, if we fast forward or change our time, I should say, today. We're just going to turn off some of these lights. Just to prove that I'm not, I don't know, just because I wanted them off. Pay attention to this guy here. Our, ampermeter. Oh, you can't see it anymore, can you? Because I turned off the panel lights. I touched on this in a previous video, but, that ampere meter and voltmeter is tied directly to the brightness knob for all of the overhead panel lights. That's not cool. It gets better though. Oh, okay, great. We'll just thank you, Flight Sim. Appreciate you. It's the same thing down here. Panel lights out, by radios. Panel lights up. Hello. Goodbye. Read a Beatles song. Don't know why you say goodbye. I say hello. The 737 MAX from our friends at Microsoft. We love you. All right, on to the 787, that next airplane that I mentioned. We're going to find out about the run light, but I first want to showcase this in-ground tire. You know, this is not exclusive to... Oh, I guess I didn't get the Shadows When You Turn Left DLC. Maybe that's coming to the non-existent store later. Okay, anyway, moving on. This is not exclusive to the 787. I've seen this in a few different aircraft, so it seems to be an overall problem, but the ground mapping, not good. The 787 isn't sitting on, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 flat tires. That's not a thing, and even if it was, you'd still see rubber. It's just not correctly leveled. But oh boy, the fun doesn't stop there, friends. Boy, does it not stop there. In the cockpit. Why is my external power on? This is what I wanted. So in the cockpit. Cold and dark now. Everything is off. Battery is off. We'll turn off the APU generators and those guys. Just for funsies. We'll turn off the generators also. So there should be no energy flowing to this aircraft. Why is my overhead panel, my glare shield, and part of my radio knobs glowing with no power on board? Now, you heard me mention it before. Why does that say run? Why does that say run? Now, I'll give you a little bit of how the sausage is made here. The sim crashed while I was filming the 787 portion, and I went back, started and launched the 7.3 and found the issues with the lighting that I showed you guys, and now I'm back to the 787 again. That panel does not say run. It's for the taxi light, and therefore says taxi. Just like on the real panel out of the real airplane, it says taxi. It does not say run. Oh, but my friends, the fun doesn't stop there, of course. Let's go ahead and do a quick engine start here. We'll just, use the default control E, because this is more of a game than a sim anyway. Why would I be interested in actually properly starting this aircraft? Turn on the run light so you can see how well done that is as well. God, and the frame rates just tank on this airplane. Look at those run lights, Do you like the bright red evil demon eye? And I know demon eyes are like kind of cool on cars. I didn't know airplanes had them. Yeah, that's sick. That's super cool, dude. I love that. I digress. Alright, engines are auto starting. IRSs are aligning. Those should have been off too if it was a cold and dark start, but whatever. Who cares? It's also worth noting that this message in the iCast for the cabin temperature, I don't know how to make that go away. I get it on a couple different Boeing products, and there's nothing I can seem to do. So that's just going to be there forever. But hey, the engines are ready and running. Our run light is on. You guys aren't ready for this, I promise. I wish, I should almost throw in my original reaction here, but it was all slow and choppy. Let's power up and move out. Oh, and I gotta go right here a little bit. Oh, my nose wheel. It steers the opposite direction of where the plane's turning. Not only did they make it worse, not only did they not fix it from the original game in FS2020, they made it worse. What is this sim, dude? One other thing I want to check because I'm nitpicky, the 787 has LEDs for the strobe and beacon lights. I want to see if those are accurately modeled. Of course they're not. Nope. Just fast flash bulbs. Nope. Couldn't be bothered to do that. Still, hey, flicked them. The 787 Dreamliner from our friends at Microsoft. Hey guys, we love you. We really appreciate the time that you put into this sim and the hard work and rigorous testing that must have gone into it. I am turning left a little bit now, so hopefully that shadow stays with us. Coming off the A310. Also, I'm now realizing this linkage in the nose gear. Bluetooth. This 787 went to SEMA. It's got a Bluetooth linkage in the nose gear. That's awesome. I'm guessing this is supposed to be connected to this. It's just not. I can only imagine what that does under extension, because right now it's compressed because it's sitting on the aircraft. Or the weight of the aircraft is sitting on it. Glad they made it part of their stupid pre-flight that when you hover over it, it turns bright fucking blue. Anyway. Thanks, Microsoft. We love you. Up next on our list is the Blackbird Simulation CH-47 Chinook. Not too bad of an aircraft overall. Just a couple gripes I have with the startup procedure and the general handling of the aircraft. Actually, I think the aircraft handles fine. It's the startup procedure that I have a problem with. So let's get into that. So first and foremost, we started with a cold and dark aircraft. In fact, I didn't even take the pitot covers and chocks out. Cold and dark aircraft. Yet again, we have the aircraft running on what I'm assuming is ground power. Not a huge fan of that. If I wanted cold and dark, I should ask for cold and dark. There is a switch somewhere in the electrical panel to allow for ground power, but we'll let that go. Let's run through the startup process. Actually, let's first get lighting on so folks know that the aircraft is powered. Like so. I think that's all we need. Yeah, the rest of these can wait. Let's go fuel pumps. Relatively good sound effects out of the fuel pumps. Strange though, because I don't. So this little switch here just rings a bell in the back. If I turn on the battery, then it works. No battery, no alarms. Does it do the same thing for the external lighting? No. So you can see I've got external lighting on there. So I don't know. Maybe it's a circuitry thing. I'm not going to pretend to know. Start up the APU. That's also incorrect. There's I think it's a 5-second pause. You have to leave the APU and run a bit, and this you can flick it instantly. Whatever, I'll let it go. My biggest gripe comes in with the start process. And it's a two-factor thing. First off, you'd move both of these to the ground idle off. We'll turn on our power transfer for engines 1 and 2. And then we're going to start engine number 1. Watch our gauges. You can already see the problem. We have fuel introduced to both engines 1 and 2. Our temperatures are rising, both oil and EGT or ITT, whatever it is on a helicopter, on both engines simultaneously. I'm starting one engine. Just starting engine 1. We should have these indications in engine 1. We should not have them in engine 2. Engine 2 should be ice cold. There should be no power coming out of engine 2, just to prove that I'm not lying, that engine 2 is starting right now. Look at that heat blur coming off of the second engine. It's coming out of both engines. And my other problem. So normally on a real CH-47, this is just your ground idle. You would not have the rotors spinning at the RPM they're spinning at. You would have to move them forward again into the flight detent. But right now, where the rotors are sitting, as far as RPM, where's my... Oh god, I'm used to the DCS one. Where's my rotor RPM? That's engine... Maybe that is rotor speed. No, because there's no engine indicator. No, that's N1. I can't... There it is. Rotor RPM. We're perfectly in the green. That should not be the case. Engine torque is the same for both engines. So that's a problem. I can't let go. Overall, the aircraft does handle good, so I'll give it that. But your startup process is incorrect. It's flawed. Once you get past those couple of details, though, it is a very good flying rotorcraft. handles well. Also, I think we're still connected to external power. Yeah, we are. And the park brake's on. Which all you should have to do in the CH-47 is tap the brakes. But that seemed to not work. It could be a missing binding on my end. Anyway, the CH-47, unfortunately, not from Microsoft directly, although I'm sure they ported it. Blackbird Simulations, we love you. I wonder if all of these aircraft and rotorcraft in this case that have come from other devs, because if you look at the splash screen when FS2024 starts, there's a whole bunch of different devs who show up. And I'm thinking all that happened is the devs said, or sorry, Microsoft and Asobo said, hey, we'll give you this much money. Let us put your creation, your module as a default into our next sim. I almost guarantee that's what happened. I could be wrong. I'm speculating, of course, but it seems that way. Anyway, the CH-47 from Blackbird. We love you guys. Up next on our list is none other than the Boeing FA-18E Super Hornet. We've already got problems. Launched in, already got problems. Why are my navigation lights on? Why is my flashing beacon a steady light color? That light only flashes on the F-18, whether it be a C or a Super Hornet, the EF or the G Growler. We've got these cute little panels that can open up. That's great. I'd much rather you make something that actually, you know, works, and we're going to get more into what doesn't work. Also, that engine looks terrible. I would rather just have a black void than nothing. Okay, we'll come back for that gear pin. Hard points, looking good. Again, nav lights are just on for some reason. Don't understand that. Grab these chalks while I'm here. Oh, I can grab the gear pin from this side. There we go. Business end of the engine looks accurate. The Super Hornet looks low poly, especially around these, I think these are... No, these are the spray bars for the burners. I'm not sure what this structure is. I will say, I've never seen the turkey feathers on a Super Hornet look quite like this. They're usually a little bit lighter, but that's nitpicking. Well, you'll have to excuse me for nitpicking considering the garbage that we were fed. Well, look, you can see if you look, I've got, there's instrumentation on in the cockpit also. Again, cold and dark. Cold and dark. And here we are, loaded in. Looks like I've got limited circuit breakers. We'll just pretend that we're back in the 1940s, and we painted them with radium. Don't know what's going on with my warning panel down here. We got more radium painted circuit breakers, but this is by far not the worst part. I'm going to make it lighter just so I can see where I'm clicking on the cockpit easy. Let's run through the startup. I'm very familiar with the startup process in the F-18. I play lots of DCS. Oh, this is all permanently illuminated also. Battery on, then to the APU. Now normally this screen down here would come on with the battery power. It would tell us information about, I believe, fuel, as well as on this side, engine information, the nozzle positions, and the RPM rate. It doesn't do anything. Our DDIs are currently on. They should be, at least. Left and right. I don't know if they're actually still called DDIs on the Super Hornet. But whatever. So, ready, lights on. Let's go ahead and start. So on the real, I can't speak for the Super Hornet, but on the F-18C, you have idle cutoff detents at the throttle sit-in. And as you start, you look at your information gauge here, and I don't remember the percentage. But once you hit a certain percentage, you'll move the throttle out of the idle cutoff detent. But here you just move the start switch. That's fine. That's good enough. And you can hear the Engine's warming up over there. We're back there. Fuel's coming in. Okay. Still spooling. Still spooling. Still spooling. Still spooling. There, you just heard our switch click off. So right around now, we should be getting a whole slew of different warnings. Our displays should be coming to life. You should be hearing the roll left, that sort of thing. Again, don't know if they took that out in the Super Hornet. But either way, our displays should be alive. We should have a HUD now. That was my fault on the generators there. We'll turn them both on. We're starting the right engine now. The left engine's running, as you can hear. Right? So, don't know why the APU kicked off there. I wasn't done. That's stellar. Is it trying to crossbleed start? I guess that's a thing you could... I don't know, actually, because the bleed switch, that's just a source. I don't know, I'd imagine the F-18 can probably crossbleed. I don't know for certain. But you can see we've still got all of these lights on in the caution panel. Obviously, my generator is on left and right. The battery switch, yeah, it's on, but it's fine. Check seat, it's armed. It came armed. I can't unarm it. There's nothing I can do for that. RWR, for whatever reason, I don't know why I need a radar warning receiver. It's a civil flight simulator that you don't even allow weapons in, so no one's going to be shooting at me in this. So we started on both engines? I can't tell because I don't have a working... Also, I love how... Okay, didn't know about this. I guess that's where our heat blur comes from. I guess they figure we're always going to be moving so fast that we can just put the heat blur in the middle of the aircraft and it'll come out there. That'll be fine. Meanwhile, back here, all is calm on the Western Front. Okay, so checklist. We've got the lighting issue. We've got the lights on in the cockpit despite no power. We have no displays. What else do I need to show you? The switches in the aircrafts. Right now you can see the wing fold switch, which again, I don't know on the Super Hornet. Maybe they did change it to a switch on the C model. It's a handle that sticks out. You pull the handle out, rotate it to the position you want it, and then push it back in to lock it. Can't speak to if this is accurate or not, but currently the wing fold switch is in the fold position. Do those look like folded wings to you? No, not to me either. Let me just, just to make sure they don't, I don't know, do something weird like fold in flight. Let me click on the spread button just to make sure. Move the switch to the spread condition just to make sure. Oh, my wings are folding now. Uh-oh. Well, that's strange. I mean, if I put them in fold, do they stay folded? Oh, no. No, they spread again. Interesting. Oh, my air-to-air refueling probe is... The switch is extended. I mean, my probe's in, though, so we're probably good there. Yeah, I know the probe's in, so let me just set that to retract. Does this even have a modeled air-to-air refueling probe? No. So this switch does nothing? Correct. This switch does nothing. Awesome. Love to see it. The launch bar. Currently, let's go to the fuel condition. The launch bar is currently in the extended position. Sorry, the launch bar is retracted. Well, I better just move that switch up to make sure it's retracted, so I don't want to accidentally extend it on taxi or something. Oh, now the launch bar is extended. You see the pattern here, right? Now, I will be willing to forgive... Oh, also, just for funsies, remember how the lighting was on before? We still have this stupid Phantom strobe light. The F-18 does not have strobe lights like this. One of them's just in the back. Okay, so okay, I'll take that back. This is accurate? Although I don't know on the Super Hornet, I thought that this was a steady white light. I could be mistaken. Either way, these guys on our tailplanes, they should be flashing red. There should be none of this flashy shit happening. Oh look, and now I've got working console lights. They were just super dim. What in the world? So the rate at which, so the position of your knob doesn't actually, watch. Okay. All right. Still no displays. Turn that off. Also, our formation light knob is all the way up. Obviously, the formation lights aren't on. Don't even know if they're actually modeled. Sweep. Nothing. Okay, I'm willing to forgive all of this. I'm actually not. Cancel. I'm willing to forgive most of this if it's just a situation where, oh, well, you started on the ground. The F-18 works when you do a runway start. That's fine. You know, you get your displays, you get everything else. That's, you know. Maybe there's something in the Super Hornet that I don't know about.
Towards Tower TBM 630 Tango ready for departing straight out at runway 23 left.
What's different? What's different? What's changed? What's up with this halo of light here? So do I have working formation lights now? I do. What was done differently? Now I'm frustrated. I'm going to run the aircraft through a auto start sequence to see if it does the same thing. Hold and dark. Because I am relatively familiar with this platform and how things work. There's no master electronics or anything, so we're just going to hit a Control E. And it's going to do its thing. So displays are off now. That's how it should be. I'm not going to touch anything. APU's on. Excuse me. Left engine's starting. Again, I don't know that because my display down here is off. I want to see everything Flight Sim thinks needs to be done. Don't need onboard oxygen yet. ILS, antenna, volume for the radios, fuel. This should be in normal. This should also be in normal. I don't even have external tanks. Why are these in override? This is in... Oh, okay. We're going to leave it alone. We're just going to let it do its thing. How it thinks it should be done. So I'm not hearing the #1 engine spooling at all. Oh, okay. That's low-key kind of my fault. I didn't take the shit off. Hold on. There you go. The heat blur, dude. Oh, okay. No, no, no. What did you do differently? Doing this live. I'm not cheating. Okay. First things first, daytime. So I'm not going to sit here, and again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm a naval pilot, but Control E. believe this would also be caged if I'm not mistaken. Well, yes, it technically is right now. Took out all of our little probes and blockers and all that stuff. Okay, engine's coming up. It didn't do anything different. Threw on these switches and then move this to right condition, right? 1, 2, 3. I heard 3 switch clicks. Did you hear 3 switch clicks? This is absurd. I'm gaslighting myself now. I'm either going to cut it there or I'm going to get this. Okay. Clear off all of our static ports and pitot tube covers. Get the gear pins. Grab the chocks. Because I don't have a Loadmaster. APU. APU ready light, left engine. Still all dark, can't see anything, that's fine, not touching anything else. I was moving around a whole lot of stuff before. Waiting. 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 Click, click, no displays. I mean, O-Bog shouldn't matter. It's just, I don't know. So we'll chalk up the displays to it being something I did not do. I don't know what I would have done differently, but clearly there's something here that I'm missing or something that isn't true to life. The APU kicked off again, but everything else is still fucked. The symbology here, the condition of the switches from the start, the lighting, the heat blur coming out of the middle of the jet. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that fixed now too? So maybe you just have to load the... Maybe you just have to load the airplane a few times. I don't know. Anyway, F-18F Super Hornet. Broken or not, we love it. Thanks, Microsoft. Is the takeoff as realistic as this sim? Also interesting, so the F-18 should be capable of flying on one engine. Like, I don't know why we're pretending that it can't do this. Taking off, maybe not, but like sustaining flight on one engine should be no problem. I also like how I'm getting engine start sounds despite the aircraft literally being in full afterburner right now. So let me use my HMD because I can't see. What is going on with this flight? Okay, we're gonna... I need to check one more thing. I need to check one more thing. The thing? Thing. One more thing. Does it even fly right? I didn't even get a chance to get it in the air when I found this. This is going on far too long. Oh my god, this is a 17-minute bit. Oh god. I'm almost at 18 minutes now that I've been ragging on this airplane. This is supposed to be like a couple minutes.
Edwards Tower TBM 630 Tree Tango at runway
You're not a
23 left
TBM.
ready for departure, straight out departure.
Okay, so in the aircraft now, I can ditch the HMD. Let's look at our configuration now. Wings are still in the fold position. Launch bar is still extended. We're in the carrier detent, which, whatever, that's fine. Air refueling probe is still out, and we're overriding all of our external tanks despite having none attached. The system INS is set to off, not even in-flight align. Radar is off, but hey, our FLIR system is on. So, you know, that's good. Glad we got that going for us. Not implemented. Well, good, because it's not on either. Not implemented. Not implemented. You don't even have an essay page? You could have made that, like, I don't know, a TCAS map or something? Whatever. We'll go with this. Should not be trying to rotate at 100 knots. We're gonna go at 150. This thing is super nose happy. Let's trim it out a little bit here. Anti-skid was off also. There's 300. Gear still down. There's 380. Hard brake. So yeah, don't try and ground start your F-18. Otherwise you won't be able to do that cool action stuff. They still have vapor trails going through the wing. Probably because they just copied whatever India Fox Teco did. Oh, did the engines glow all of the time? Despite power setting? Hold on, let's regain some semblance of level flight here. Do the engines just glow all the time? That's awesome. Airspeed 300. We got plenty of airspeed. So I'm back to idle in both engines now. Looks like the left engine is not glowing while the right one is. I'm completely out of burner. Let's go 50% power. We're not going to go into burner. So you can see my RPM gauge. We're at 92%, meaning we should have no fuel introduced into the burner section. That is correct. Let's go to 100% full mill. Okay, there's full mill. A little bit more. A little bit more. I liked the sim much better when you had a button for the afterburner. 5.74, so yeah, whatever, call it good enough. The F-18, don't start it from the ground and don't pay attention to where your switches are. We love you, Flight Sim. Ooh, I'm going transonic. I'm supersonic now. Next up on our list, we made it 3 letters into the alphabet. We are on C now. And I'm in the main menu because I want to make a point here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variants of this aircraft. And of those 6, looks like we're up to 2. Nope, scientific research is part of the cargo. I don't believe it's part of the medevac. Oh, it is. It's part of the medevac as well. Definitely part of the passengers. You only get 2 options there. Skydiving. Yep, it's in the skydive configuration as well. Amphib, it's in the amphib. And finally, we have the scientific observation configuration. It would make the most sense. Obviously, you'd want the scientific research and the scientific observation configuration, right? Why would you not want that? So let's go ahead and launch into the sim. All right, scientific research livery offered on most of the variants of this aircraft. We obviously chose the scientific research variant of the aircraft. All right, here we are, all set to launch. Again, we've got these little cute panels that open up. It looks like a remove before flight tag stuck with the, I don't know. It's there, though. Supposed to be attached to that. Grab those, grab the chocks, and grab the pitot tube. Now, when I first came back here, and I opened up this little hatch, and I opened up this little hatch, and anyway, you can see it in here. I was like, oh, that's really cool, because from this angle, I was like, oh, it's like got a skylight or something for, like, I don't know, atmospheric observation. These little things open here, too, as well. So that's cute and neat. I don't know why it wasn't letting me in backseat, but that's okay. We'll show it to you here. There's no interior. There's just no interior. Those are the little doors for the cabin. You gave us so many variants of the scientific research paint scheme, or with the scientific research paint scheme, and you couldn't even be bothered to work or have a working scientific research interior? Are you kidding me, Asobo? Are you kidding me, Microsoft? That's about it for this. As far as I can tell, the startup and, you know, handling characteristics of the aircraft are fine. I actually haven't flown it. I've started it and taxied it. Maybe we should go for a quick flight, but I just... How? How does this make it past testing, Microsoft? We absolutely love you. Next up on our list is the Heart Aerospace ES-30, an electric hybrid aircraft with a claimed electric-only range of 200 nautical miles and a combined range of, I think, 800 kilometers. Sorry, 200 kilometers and then 800 kilometers. This aircraft only has a couple of things that I don't really care for. Let's make it nighttime to show you what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, again, these are somewhat repetitious problems. Now, aside from the fact that this aircraft has not completed any real-world flights as of yet, due to its odd hybrid nature. So you see here, this engine here is an electric motor, whereas this engine here is a turboprop. So essentially, you can fly on the electric-only engines, or you can combine the electric-onlys with the turboprops. So 1 and 4 are turboprops, and then 2 and 3 are the electrics. This is my problem. And I guess I can go back to live because they don't light up. So I have all of these indications here suggesting they're switched on but have a fault. That's just not true, because I should have no indications at all. Now, if I turn on the batteries, then they actually light up. Let's go back to live just so I can kind of see what I'm doing here. That's not my big issue. We've seen that on a couple of other aircraft as well. My big gripe is down here in the PFD MFD region. Where's my engine information? So this aircraft in the real world uses a Garmin G3000 glass cockpit. And the real cockpit, full screen this, looks like that. You see this right here? That's engine information. And I also have the Garmin soft keys on both my PFDs and my MFD. I haven't even looked at the switches and stuff down here. Let's see if those look accurate. Nope. Where are all of those switches? You see all of these switches here? This is the real aircraft. And here's another angle. Well, you can't really see the switches down there. But again, Garmin G3000. These are much closer together, and they look a little bit taller too than what's in the sim, but it's really hard to fly an aircraft inside of parameters if I don't have engine information. That sucks. Can I, yeah, now I have down here the map settings for the MFD. There's no engine indication information. And originally I thought that the cockpit looked a little bit sparse, but the real aircraft also has that kind of sparse looking cockpit. There's really nothing else supplemental. Even the EHSI that we have in the sim here is missing from the real aircraft. So as far as I know, this aircraft is still vaporware, for lack of a less offensive term. I think it's just now completing turnaround trials, certification, all of that still well on the way. But you know, good luck, Sweden. We wish you luck. What is kind of neat though is you can start up both of the electrical engines. But again, I have no indication of if something's on or off. I mean, I can push this as many times as I want. No indication seems to change. Engine start, bus off. Why is that? I have the batteries on. It shouldn't be. You can hear I've got the electric engines running. And I will say one thing that is neat is the electric engines sound very different from the gas ones. So you can hear that motor spool. I've never seen this aircraft in real life. Didn't even honestly know this aircraft existed prior to the sim. Let's go ahead and start engine 1. And we'll shut down those electrics. In fact, we'll do a split here. Restart engine 3. Okay, we've got the turboprop going. Up and running. And the spool sound on the turboprop motor is obviously much different than that of the electric motor. So, neat idea, neat concept, but I can't fly it without an ICAS. Also fix the switches. But hey, Microsoft, we appreciate you. Thank you. Also, I like how there's an adjustment knob for my HUD, but I seemingly cannot lower. Oh, there's the HUD. Well, unless I'm doing something wrong, which is possible, the HUD seems to just not work. You could have just copied the 787 and been lazy, like you've been with the rest of this sim. Thanks, Microsoft. We love you. Making our way through this one, we're up next to the Icon A5. Very simple airplane, but unfortunately they still could not get it right. So first and foremost, on the inside of the aircraft, I'm going to do the automated engine start to make sure that I don't miss any steps, although there's not a lot of steps on this airplane. Automated engine start. Now, it's hard to see because of the sunlight here, but this alternator light is currently illuminated. Excuse me, as well as the land aircraft light. Now, the alternator light will not extinguish for the entire duration of this demo. I'm going to turn out here to the right. So there's the alternator light. Land aircraft light, I'm not entirely certain what that denotes. So we'll let that go. It did not illuminate in the previous Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. But that alternator light's got to go. This is a internally driven. There's not even a switch for the alternator on this aircraft, so I don't know what they're on about. So that's issue number 1. See, we still have the alternator light on. And let's see if I can do this in one pass here. We're high and fast, per usual, on the channel. I think we'll scoot it, or skip it off of the ground here. We'll bleed some of that extra airspeed so we stick in the water. So, 2 more issues actually. Look at the roost. Why is it coming out of the center of the fuselage? That's insane. Oh, okay, only got the nose gear down. We might have to slew our way out of this one here, folks. Oh, I'm sorry, slew mode doesn't work. We'll just gently turn our way back into the water. With a gear catch. And we'll sink back into the water. And we're now afloat, so here come the gear going up. Now, let's talk about the water rudder on the aircraft. So right now I have the water rudder retracted. It's this little black guy back here. You can see it moves in tandem with my rudder. I have found that whether low speed or high speed, my performance does not improve. We're currently turning with the water rudder retracted. Water rudder's coming down now. I don't really see an improvement. Also, there's no more water physics. I guess I'm going too slow for those now. So we'll retract the water rudder. Yeah, look at the water clipping through the fuselage. That's crazy. Quite unfortunate. Alright, water rudder up. Then we'll take a look at that alpha roost one more time as we gain speed. Look at water completely over the center of the empennage. Horrible, horrible roost effect. Water's improved, but it's also not improved. The Icon A5 from our friends at Microsoft. We love you guys. Next up on our list, we have the P-51 Mustang. I did say that I was going to kind of omit more vintage style aircraft. That was until I found the P-51. This has a egregious issue with it. We'll start with, I found 2 things. First thing is small and relatively whatever. If we come down in the cockpit here, you can see on the right-hand panel over here where we have our battery and generator switches. There's a switch here called landing lights. Well, that would make sense, right? You've got your position lights. Why not have your landing lights? Well, the problem is on the P-51, at least the D model, the landing light switch is over here. And this is clickable. This is the actual landing light switch on the P-51D. So, oh, I did a 360. So I don't know what that is, but that's not the big problem. My big problem comes into play, and I need hydropower for this. So let's just do a quick engine start. So if we look at my left-hand wing, and I actuate my ailerons, it goes up and down as I actuate my stick left and right. Same thing with the flaps. They go down, and they go up. That's what you would expect. Well, apparently this is a monoplane P-51. It's not a mono. I'm using words that don't make sense because the brokenness of this sim has melted my brain and ruined my faith in game developers. Anyway, if we come over to this side and I wiggle my stick back and forth, You can even see, watch the shadow right here where my mouse is. You can see my left hand side aileron is moving. And you can see my left hand side flap is coming down. Why is the right side not moving? The entire right side wing, the elevator works on the right side. The rudder works when it's deflected to the right. But the entire right side of the wing is just not modeled. So that's it for the P-51. Thrust upon us by our friends at Microsoft. Thanks, Microsoft. We love you guys. And with that, we have arrived at the aircraft that made me start this entire series. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pilatus PC-24, an aircraft I was super excited to get to fly, and I'm going to show you today why we can't do anything with it. We can't even start it by hand, let alone fly the damn thing. Let's begin. Oh man, this was quite the letdown. And for those of you guys who already saw my coverage of this in my their sort of long form video, I do apologize for the redundancy. So this is obviously a cold and dark startup, right? Cabin light on inside. Why is that? The emergency exit sign also on inside. I can't tell because the lighting sucks in the sim, but I think the wing light is on also. I guess I could check. It's not. But just real quick, just to prove I'm not fibbing, there's that overhead light and the emergency exit. Let's go inside. Now, cold and dark setup. Yet I have a master warning, master caution. My ELT is on. Do you guys see the flashing of the, is that showing up in the recording? It is. Does it do it on all of Yes, dude. Yes. All right. So again, this light is on. GPU is available, so let's turn that on. And everything in here is obscenely bright. And it's not really showing right now because it's daytime. But if I again fast forward to night or revert back to night, obscenely bright. It's like they like put in a reshade in the cabin here, but didn't know how to like tweak their preset for this overhead light. And I understand the overhead light's supposed to be bright. And I hear some of you saying, "Oh, well, just turn it off." Good idea. Why don't we just turn it? Oh. Well, let me get the bat. Well, let me. Okay. Well, let me turn on the nav. Oh. No. You get the theme here. The overarching theme in this aircraft is nothing.
Pause system test. Okay.
Shut up. Nothing in this aircraft, as far as I have tested. Oh my god, I found a working button. Are there more? 2. Okay, I need to change that frequency. Ooh. Okay. So it looks like some of the PFD buttons work. The MFD also seems to work. Now this is also ported over from the PC-12, so it wouldn't surprise me that this works. The PC-12 works relatively fine. I think this was a lazy port over, and it shows. I mean, nothing in here is clickable, nothing is draggable, nothing is scrollable. Ooh, I can, again, the PFD controls, so I can turn down my PFD and the MFD. How about anything related to this aircraft? My throttles are locked in the full takeoff condition. Do you hear that? That is me reaming my throttles, my physical throttles back and forth. This is me spamming the F1 key, which is idle. F4, F1, F4, F1, doesn't matter what I push. Nothing in this aircraft works. It gets better. Do you see this shade over here? Gone there, gone there, gone there. It does the same thing on the left side, or the right side rather. I have to find the spot for it, though. There it is. Gone there, gone there, gone there, gone there. Obviously, we can't click and drag these at all. But you know the insult to injury in all of this? So none of my buttons are clickable. I can't turn this. Any of this stuff works, right? Doesn't do anything. The insult to injury is if I come back to this stupid seat here. Now, the tables don't work. You see this light? Do you see this light in the cabin? It's on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Genuinely, what are we doing? So aside from it, maybe that was a port over from the PC-12 as well. I don't know because I can't. Oh, and the window shades work. Lovely. Window shades work. The cabin lights work. I don't even know what this is. What is this supposed to do? Well, it doesn't work. I think this is supposed to open and close a door. That doesn't work. Anything else in here? Probably not. If I run through the engine start process, I have no left or right actuation of my yoke. I am banging my stick to the left and the right. Nothing is happening. Just to prove I'm not lying, if we go outside, even though there's no hydro power, now I don't know 100% if the PC-24 has hydraulically powered actuators. I would imagine to raise and lower those spoilerons you would. But I could be wrong. I mean, those are pretty big ailerons as well. I don't know. But there's your proof that I'm waggling left and right. Unlike the P-51, both of them work. Just not inside the cockpit. Now with the engine starting, I have all of my fire warning switches are on. Can't clear them out. Can't do anything. Nothing. The airplane's up and running. The only lights that seem to work are the taxi lights and the landing lights. Landing lights, taxi lights. Landing lights, taxi lights. I lied. Strobe lights also work. That's it. I have a bind to turn on all the lights on the aircraft. I'm going to push it now. That's it. Just those. Now the aircraft moves, and like if I want an extremely unrealistic experience with all of my warning lights on constantly, not flying at night because it would be blinding to me, constantly broadcasting on 121.5 my emergency locator tone, I can, but I don't want to do that. So, unfortunately, one of the aircraft I was most excited to fly in this sim is a no-go. So, once again, thank you, Microsoft, for all that you do. We indubitably appreciate your efforts, attempts, vagrant money grab, or blatant money grab. I don't know what you want to call this. It's not a flight simulator, I'll tell you that. But regardless of all of that, we love you. Oh, the gear doesn't work either. Yep, no gear retracts. I'm using my bind, using the G key, still no yoke actuation, so I guess we better slow down so we don't overspeed the gear. God, we love you. We love you so much, Microsoft. The SC7 by Microsoft / Any Builds. Not a whole lot to show on this one other than the same glitchy cockpit that we've seen before. Everything in here runs at 2 frames per second, seemingly, except I'm able to pan my camera smoothly, so I know it's an issue with the aircraft. and not my hardware. Not gonna bother flying this. It's struck by the same issues as other aircraft are. It's funny, it's like compensating for the lagginess of the controls outside by making, sorry, for the lagginess of the ones inside by making the ones outside move obnoxiously fast. Look at those ailerons. Look at them go. Wow. Anyway. Moving on. Thanks, Microsoft. We love you. And with that, we round out our list of the most buggy aircraft in the sim. Now, mind you, again, like I said at the beginning, it's not a complete list. There are a lot of duplicate bugs that I skipped over that may be present in other aircraft. But these are definitely some of the bigger ones, in my opinion. There were a few little niche ones like the Airbus A400 and stuff like that, but definitely looking for improvement immediately or as soon as possible from Asobo and their fellow creators. But anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. It was a long one, I admit that. But I do think it's, again, important to shed a light on this kind of stuff, because otherwise we'll just keep getting away with it. So that will do it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching if you made it all this way, and as always, take it easy.